This is Second Down on ESPN Radio. Christian Gokel alongside PJ Zuko. Glad to have y'all with us here on this Wednesday afternoon. It's Wednesday, right? Or is it Tuesday?
It is.
I don't know. It's
for
Tuesday.
sure Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. I just went
Getting
full
ahead
Kevin
of
there.
yourself.
Went full Kevin there. You know why I'm thinking Wednesday, PJ?
Oh, I know why.
Because we don't have a show tomorrow.
That's true.
And I was just thinking about
just
that.
getting Tuesday and Wednesday out of the way.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm combining them both together. But yeah, leave me alone. Got Braves baseball coming up for you tomorrow on Wednesday.
If I left, well, I was gonna say if I leave you alone, that'd be pretty bad.
Everyone
radio.
here would be like, "What the?"
But then again,
it's Wednesday.
Yeah, no,
It's Tuesday. At least I knew it as soon as I said it.
Yeah, no, you like switched, and there wasn't. You said it with. Here's the thing. There's no hesitation. You said it with gusto. You said it with. You said it with intent.
I don't know if you
said, all right.
I don't know if you've seen the world lately. A lot of people say stupid things with gusto.
Wednesday. You said it was definite. It was you were very confident in that thing. My thing with Kevin is it's always having a great
Thursday afternoon.
Like, dude, it's Sunday. Why are you even hosting the show right now?
Dang.
Like, oh crap, I forgot. I got excited. So yeah, no, that's what if you're gonna make a mistake, at least you know what? You make the hell out of that mistake.
Do it. Oh, all right. So on this Tuesday afternoon, we have some news to dive into. Braves got a win last night, 2-1 over the PJ's Pittsburgh Pirates.
Wow, that's still a thing.
It's my favorite time of the year.
Back, man.
When the Braves play PJ's Pittsburgh Pirates. Got a win over them. They're now 3 games back in the NL East. When I heard after June that it was over, I heard after the Braves lost a bunch of games in that 5-game set up in New York that it was over. 3 games back. 3 games back.
Yep.
I think for the first time in the history of the franchise, in back-to-back series, going back to the Mets and the Astros, for the first time in the history of the franchise, I'm trying to word this correctly, the Braves won back-to-back series against teams that were 30 games over 500 at the time.
Wow. Yeah.
First time ever. And now they're just 3 games back. But I do have to get to something here. We're going to get to Nick Saban here. He had a really good day today. I don't know if you saw that news. We're going to get to Nick Saban. We have some Sunbelt news to dive into as well. Also some sad high school football news to get into. So a lot of stuff to talk about here today on Second Down on a Tuesday.
Very
Tuesday afternoon. Do you do the same thing I do? Like where you mess up somebody's name, you just got to say it repeatedly until you remember it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what I have to do anyway. I am terrible with names. Like you tell me your name, like who are you? No, but you tell me your name and like 30 seconds later, I'm definitely going to be saying guy and like bro and friend a lot. Bud. Bud's kind of the go-to. But no, like if I have to ask you and then I really want to reiterate it, I just for the next like 5 to 10 minutes, it has to be, yeah, Christian. No, you're right, Christian. That's crazy, Christian. I don't know. That's kind of wild, Christian. No, for sure, Christian. Just so I just burn it into my head. Anyway, but it's definitely Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday. So
yes.
I got some bones to pick. And this is not with listen, this guy knew what he was doing when he tweeted it out, but he was just presenting facts. But I've presented facts like this before. We'll talk about that in a second. Matt Kreatsberg, he's a writer and a podcast host for the Outfield Fly Rule Sports. He tweeted out, in just 13 games, Vaughn Grissom has been worth more WAR or F-WAR 1.1 than Ozzie Albies has in 62 games so far this year. Again, Grissom's WAR is 1.1. Ozzie Albies' WAR is 1.0. And WAR is not one of those stats where it's like, oh, in 2 games, he has a better batting average than Ozzie Albies had in 62 games. It's not how WAR works. It's your positional value against replacement, like against everyone else that plays that same kind of position, right? So Grissom has been unbelievable for the Atlanta Braves, right? Kind of had that same arc that Austin Riley had when he first got called up, where it's just he was hitting everything. It was just an instant spark. And then obviously Riley dealt with the off-speed issues, which once he got it fixed, now he's an MVP candidate. But Grissom's been amazing, right? So now what everybody's saying is, oh, well, what's Ozzie going to do when he comes back? And I'm just sitting here reading the replies, right? Grissom hitting for contact. Albies tries to golf everything out of the park. Needs to stop being a switch hitter. So much better right-handed. Honestly, if Grissom doesn't cool down, Ozzie could be a trade piece in the offseason. Depends if we don't swap Grissom to left field. There's a song of fame, I think early 2000s would be, it's not 90s, early 2000s. These bleeps ain't loyal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
These Braves fans ain't loyal.
Yeah.
Ozzie Albies has been a stalwart for this organization through some really crappy years.
Yeah.
Has been an excellent second baseman defensively and has been awesome offensively. Been a great switch hitter. Yes, he's better from the right side than the left, but I still like 240, 250 hitter, batting left-handed, right? And just that infield combo between him and Dansby Swanson has been deadly. And also, I don't know, maybe kind of like the heartbeat of the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, in some big moments, yeah.
But no, you break your foot and a rookie comes up and all of a sudden it's, oh, well, I've seen enough here in 13 games.
Yeah.
To say that I'm comfortable going forward with Grissom over a guy like Ozzie Albies, who's been the lockdown second baseman for the Braves for the past, 4 or 5 years.
Right.
It's unbelievable to me.
It is.
And I don't know. I know it's not just a Atlanta fan thing because Atlanta fans always, like every other fan, grass is always greener, right? Everyone always wants to replace Matt Ryan. Right? Paul Millsap and them boys weren't good enough. Trying to get rid of Al Horford and them.
Of course.
We got to move on. It's not going to work. And then mediocrity.
Yep. Al Horford will fizzle out once he gets
getting
to where he goes.
Better.
And he's getting better.
Could do a whole show on Al Horford.
He's been like 3 or 4 different places and he's been great everywhere.
But listen, Vaughn Grissom's been amazing. And he, I think, is going to find his role on this team. Is it probably in left field? Yeah. But also what I'm waiting on, and I hope I'm wrong, but it's just what happens to 99.99% of prospects who come up is pitchers don't have the book on them. They're young, they're athletic, they can move, they make some really cool plays, and then you get about 30, 40 games into it, and it's, oh yeah, you're a rookie. Now, there are the outliers, the Michael Harrises, who come up, and dude has been a professional center fielder since he got up. Sure. He's a little bit different story though, because he got to be at the alternate site throughout COVID, so he got to see major league pitching that entire time and kind of got to be in and around what it's like to be on a major league team. And so he's got a little bit different story, not to take away at all from what he's done, because he's probably going to be the rookie of the year. I think he should be the runaway rookie of the year. But just before you start burying Ozzie, I don't know why I'm having to say this.
Yeah.
And obviously Alex Anthopoulos isn't thinking this. It's just Braves fans just drive me up a wall.
Yep. It's embarrassing.
Before you bury the multiple-time All-Star, the guy who played second base on your World Series team, take a step back and realize Grissom's played 13 games. Has he been clutch when you needed him to? Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not even like, what have you done for me lately doesn't even like qualify as the term, right? It's like, what have you done for me in the past 2 weeks? How quickly people forget.
It's unbelievable. But that being said, I want to move on. I just want anybody out there thinking, oh, yep, make Ozzie a trade piece. You got him locked down on a extremely team-friendly deal.
Yeah.
Right? The only guy you're really waiting to lock down is Dansby, and I'm starting to feel like if that hasn't happened, it's not going to happen. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So before you start burying Ozzie, I'd look at the guy that they haven't signed yet and say, oh, are they maybe thinking Grissom's the guy to replace him?
Right.
Because if Dansby wants to be paid like Tatis is paid,
it's a whole lot of money flying around.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. You know who has had a good day? You know who did get paid?
One Nick Saban.
Nicholas Saban.
Sure.
Once again, and I have to say this correctly because there's a lot of people just out here very, very, very irrationally and incorrectly throwing around the term highest paid coach in football. We don't know that that's true.
Okay. All right.
What we can say definitively is that Nick Saban is once again the highest paid football coach at a public university. Is it as fun as saying Nick Saban is the highest paid coach in college football? No.
Right.
Is it correct? And the other one potentially could be incorrect?
Yeah.
Yes. But Nick Saban just got a big time extension. And I shouldn't say big time. It's 1 year, but a big time pay raise It's now going to go through the end of the 2029 season. His contract expires in 2030 now, February of 2030. And so he'll be 78 when that thing's up. But it tells me a couple things. Number one, Nick Saban's the GOAT. If you didn't know it already, I don't know where you've been.
Right.
But like just contract clause wise, he's the GOAT. But number two, if you think he's leaving anytime soon, I think you got another thing coming.
Yeah.
Because they would just like Nick Saban and his agent would front load this contract if they didn't feel like he'd be able to reach the end of it. I think he's going to coach until they kick him out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd have to agree. And you've seen all of the different, features on Nick Saban and his home life and the football players. Yeah, what was it like? They go out and they have the cookout and the boat ride and all this other thing. But one time he ran out of fuel, whatever, on his boat. They were stranded out there for a little bit, but it was all in good fun and whatever. He's cut out a little side of Alabama there for himself. He's perfectly fine. He's placement or anything like that. That none of that's going to bring him anywhere at all. I don't think money is going to bring him anywhere at all because boom, he's got it. He's got anything he wants.
And I think he's got it a little bit easier too than some of the other coaches, like because he's already put in the work.
Yeah.
Right.
He's laid.
I want to say this very carefully because I don't want to question Nick Saban's work ethic, and I'm not doing that here. What I'm saying is where Nick Saban is at is a lot more fluid of a situation, I don't want to say easier, but he's built the foundation to now like the store kind of runs itself.
Sure.
I don't know if that makes sense when I'm saying like when he got there, it was we have to change this, we have to change this, we have to change this. And then he's gone through like 2013, 2014, where he kind of had to revitalize how he even approached football. And then, of course, the college football playoff and all that enter. But I think now we've made it easier on him with the transfer portal and NIL. But he's versus Mario Cristobal, who's trying to build something at Miami, and Kirby Smart, who's finally just broke through and got the national championship and now has to do not what Nick Saban does, but has to try to do what Dabo Swinney does, which is get back and win another one. Kirby Smart's still trying to build that consistency. Nick Saban, again, the store kind of runs itself at this point where he walks in or one of his coaches walks in and says, you want to come play at Alabama? Answer 9 out of 10 times is yes.
Yeah.
So he's going to be top 1, 2 in recruiting every single year, regardless of what they do. Right. Going to have the best players. If he asks for something in terms of facility, that's a yes. Whereas other coaches have to fight and fundraise. Nick Saban says, I want this. And they're like, okay, cool. What else do you need?
Right.
And so I think it's just a little bit different for him to where he doesn't have to go through the same kind of grind, I guess is the best way to put it, that some of the other coaches right now. I mean, Kirby Smart's gone through like the presidential thing where it's like the president comes in looking very young and vibrant and happy. And then you see them when they get done after 2 terms and it's like, damn.
Yeah.
That grind.
Right.
Yeah. Kirby Smart's gone through that. And so he, I think, is getting closer to it than most other coaches in college football. But Nick Saban has that established. And again, just kind of runs itself. So do I think it's outside the realm of possibility? Dude coaches another 8 years? Nah.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But just want to go through these facts quick. So Saban now is going to be paid, Coach Saban is now going to be paid $11.7 million on average through the life of this contract. That jumps him over Kirby Smart, who signed his new deal, where Kirby Smart's annual average was $11.25 million. All these contracts are a little bit different. Like Mel Tucker makes $9.5 million a year, but his base salary is $5.9 million. I actually think Nick Saban, if you get down to it, his base salary is like $350,000 a year.
Jeez.
And then it's just all the other stuff that they add into it that gets him up over $10 million now to $11.7 million. But this is from Alex Scarborough at ESPN.com. Saban's contract includes a provision in which he and the university can revisit annually, quote, marketplace trends regarding head football coach compensation. If Saban's total guaranteed compensation is less than the average of the top 3 highest paid coaches in the SEC or less than the average of the 5 highest paid coaches nationally, the university agrees to pay Saban the higher of the 2 averages. It's a great contract. Yeah. Also included in the contract are postseason bonuses, $75,000 for appearing in the SEC championship game or $125,000 for winning it, $200,000 for appearing in a New Year's Six bowl game, $400,000 for appearing in a national championship semifinal game, $600,000 for appearing in a national championship game, or $800,000 for winning. So last year, Nick Saban made $1 million just off of the playoffs.
Yeah. Just simply getting there and obviously making it to the national championship.
Right.
Yeah. No, listen, if you're sitting in your car, whatever, you can be mad at that if you want. But I mean, that is just a guy knowing his status and knowing his value.
Oh, God,
and of course, an agency and, who's dealing with his contracts and whatnot, and putting that into work. Like, that is a thing of beauty, that contract, especially the incentives are one thing, but especially listen, I know, and everyone here knows I'm the best college football coach, and like I am at very least the greatest. Actively.
I'll say he's the best football coach in the world.
Yeah, no,
regardless of league, because you know what, Bill Belichick, at least Nick Saban went to the NFL and tried to coach some games, and they won some football games. They weren't terrible. They were pretty average. I want to see Bill Belichick come back and run an 800 college football team.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Go ahead and try that, bud. See how it goes. But I doubt it's going to go very well. But again, just saying, listen, I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table, obviously, and I'm going to get paid like it no matter what. So let's put that into writing and figure this out, not only in the SEC, but in the country, period. Because I'm going to make sure that I get what I deserve. And again, that's just good contract writing. Like that's just a good agreement. I don't think Alabama hesitated at all, even seeing that.
Yeah.
So I'm listen. It is what it is. If you put success on the field and off the field, which I think he has in both ways, and maybe it's just because of the show that just came out or what. But what's funny is like you use that in an analogy. I was gonna say, man, talk about building foundation. Like he built the foundation and then he built the castle. And now he's just kind of the king, just hanging out, just making sure no one's going to cross him. If they try to, bye. So like it's
true.
It's not simple, but it is now that you look back and you see everything that he was able to do and able to build there at Alabama. And it is what it is. Good for him.
It is what it is. My man is rich.
Yeah, I don't.
And he's got the ultimate contract provisions, which is basically if my coordinators leave and take other jobs inside the SEC and do them well, it means I get more money. It's a great contract.
It's incredible.
It's an outstanding contract.
I say it is what it is because like I'm not going to sit here and say like it's great for him. I'm not going to sit here and say like it's the best thing ever for the community of college football, but like because I know there's a lot of people out there right now. Like there's plenty of people I'm sure out there right now that agree with us and say, listen, he's getting his, that's fine. There's a lot of people saying what one human being in college football is worth that much. I'd point to
it's not worth it to college football. It's worth it to Alabama, which again is a school that is getting a ton of booster money, a ton of fundraising money, and then just the value he adds to the university and to the conference, which is getting those huge billion-dollar TV network deals. Right. So it's Nick Saban is absolutely worth every penny and probably more, might be underpaid if we're being honest. We got to take a break though. We're going to come back. I'm going to quiz PJ, and then we have some college football news to dive into, some sad high school football news to get into as well. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio. We'll be back after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Christian Gokel, glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Tuesday afternoon. We do have some unfortunate college football news to get into. We just put out our Sunbelt Power Rankings. App State coming in at number 1. Marshall, one of the new schools in the Sunbelt, coming in at number 2. One of the big reasons behind that is a running back named Rasheen Ali. If you don't know, Ali last year had over 1,700 yards on a little less than 300 touches for the Thundering Herd, and was coming back. I was on all kinds of award watch lists. Well, now it looks like he is going to be taking a step away from football. As Charles Huff said in a statement, Rasheen will be away from the team for some time, and as soon as he is mentally, physically, and emotionally ready to return, he will be back. Our team and staff are doing a great job of supporting him, and we are looking forward to getting him back soon. We don't know what the actual cause is of him stepping away, but the Huntington Quarterly, which covers him very closely, says it's a, quote, family issue. So one of the big playmakers in the Sun Belt going to be out. I think it's interesting because you're looking at them starting the season with a team they should be able to take out relatively easily there in Nicholls State. But after that, they have to take on Notre Dame in South Bend. And for people saying, well, I mean, Marshall's probably going to get their butts kicked anyway, we don't know yet. We really don't know what this Notre Dame team looks like. And Marshall, again, one of the better teams in the Sun Belt. So you're going to be without Rasheen Ali, their big time back there, at least to start the season. Don't know what the timetable looks like on his return. But I did want to get with PJ and do one of my favorite things.
Hello there.
Pop quiz.
Yes. The best.
So we know Nick Saban is now the highest paid football coach at a public university.
Yes.
Right? I'm just going to go ahead and say, for the purpose of this exercise, he's the highest paid coach in college football.
Okay.
Right?
Sure. Most likely.
Can you give me the rest of the top 10?
Wow.
See if we can extrapolate this out.
Okay. Oh, man. Of strictly public schools?
Well, we go full college football.
Okay. Pretty sure just because, well, you know what? Yeah, all right. So we're going to go Kirby Smart. He's in there.
Yep, Kirby Smart, number 2, $11.25 million annually.
Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo Fisher's in the top 10. He's number 9.
Wow, okay.
$7.5 million a year.
Man, people have been getting some contracts recently.
Yes.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly is tied for third at $9.5 million a year.
Okay.
So I'm assuming him and Kirby Smart getting their cheese. The big reason why Nick Saban just got a nice raise.
Sure. And this guy might not see all. No, I mean, I'm not going to say all. This guy might not see a lot of this money. But I'm going to go Lincoln Riley.
Okay, so Lincoln Riley is an interesting one because he coaches at USC, which is a private school.
Oh.
We don't know how much money he makes.
Yeah.
But reports are it's north of $10 million a year.
Okay.
So we could probably slide him up to 3.
But he's not technically on the list.
Not technically on the list because we don't. Like Marcus Freeman not on the list, if I'd imagine.
Yeah.
That dude's getting some cheese.
Right. There's some notable ones I know. I will say I did not know that USC was a private institute. Like I know Miami is, which I think would surprise some people. So it's very interesting. So yeah, my bad. I forgot that. That makes this a little bit more difficult. This guy just recently got a heck of an extension, and I'm pretty sure it puts him in the top 10. Some would debate that he deserves to be there. James Franklin.
James Franklin just missed out. I think he's 13th.
Really? Okay. Well, good for, well.
But you're thinking the right conference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ryan Day is definitely up there, right?
He is tied for third as well with Brian Kelly at $9.5 million. There's one more person tied for third.
Could it possibly be Jim Harbaugh?
It is not. I think he's like at 7.03 or something like that.
Really? Still? Yeah. I wonder if they're working on that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, he had one really good year. The rest of them have been pretty dang mediocre.
Yeah.
No, he was almost like prior to last year, I was talking about hot seat.
Well, you talk about last year and who might have been putting him on the hot seat. Mel Tucker.
Mel Tucker is the other one tied for third at 9.5 million a year.
Okay. All right. This is the thing. We start getting out of that range.
The rest of them should be
start to struggle
pretty
a
obvious,
more.
except for one.
See, I mean, you say that. I don't have a lot.
You want me to tell you?
No, I mean, I do want to guess some. Dan Lanning at Oregon?
No.
Okay. See, that's the thing. I'm trying to think of like new contracts that have just kind of gotten renewed. Or not renewed,
Created,
but you know, have just gotten there. You said Marcus Freeman is private there at Notre Dame, which makes complete and total sense. So he's not going to be on the list. Guys that have had really good seasons in the.
I will say, private don't have to, but some of them do.
So they are on. So some of them are on the list.
Yes.
Okay, for the sake of that, then I'm going to say Mario Cristobal and Marcus Freeman. Then
Mario Cristobal is number 8 at $8 million. We don't know about Marcus Freeman.
Okay, gotcha. I'd kind of taken them.
And
off
I would
the list.
guess Marcus Freeman's probably not in the top 10 just based off of not what school he's coaching at, but just his prior experience. He was not a head coach before.
No, that makes complete sense.
Same boat Dan Lanning's in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I just thought Oregon. You know they got money, so I just thought.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal making $8 million, coming in at number 8.
Yeah. Okay. So, guy who certainly has a track record for being right there. So maybe he's right there at number 9 or number 10. Mike Gundy.
Gundy is not up there.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Now this is another guy that like prior experience. Well,
you are leaving a national champion coach off.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I'm ridiculous. This is silly. Dabo Swinney.
Dabo Swinney
That's
comes
silly.
in at number 7 at 8.37 million, just behind a guy that is the most shocking on the list. But I mean, I think he deserves it, but still, like, you just don't think about him.
Okay. So it deserves it, but so he is. Man, has he proved something at the school that he is at, or is he?
They have gone to the respective New Year's Six Bowl for his conference.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And he's been there for a hot minute.
So he's been there for a while too. That one is kind of stumping me. I mean, someone's probably screaming at their radio right now, but
David Shaw.
Yeah, at Stanford.
Yep.
Okay.
Making 8.93 million.
He snuck into my mind for like a
making
second, but
almost $2 million a year more than his predecessor.
Yeah.
Harbaugh.
Right. No, I mean, like you said, completely deserves it too. Because I mean, like that program has stayed relevant.
Yeah.
Now they've had a couple bad years.
Ticket sales aren't great.
Sure. Yeah, but they've stayed insanely relevant over his tenure there.
They've stayed revenant.
And if you look at, of course, before Jim Harbaugh and himself, they were a far thing from relevant.
All right, we need number 10.
This is a weird one because you could go so many different places. I'm going to go with a new contract, and it's a guy who has a very good track record, but just not as a head coach. Brent Venables at Oklahoma.
Brent Venables is not in the top 10.
See, it makes sense. That's the thing. Like, it makes sense, but just wanted to throw it out there still. Man. Think about think about all the different historical. Is maybe. Oh no, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. Why? I can see him. I apologize. I'm saying it like this. The new coach at Florida.
Billy Napier?
Yeah.
No, he is not up there. I can't tell you how much Billy Napier is making. $7 million a year.
So, okay. No,
he's
respectable.
close.
Yeah, respectable. He's up there top 15. Okay. Yeah, you should probably tell me the last one. No,
Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. Okay.
$7.25 million a year at Ole Miss. Some reports have Marcus Freeman's annual salary around $9 million.
Okay.
Which is wild.
Yeah, for a first-time head coach.
Yeah. He reportedly turned down a $2.5 million a year offer from Brian Kelly to come to LSU with him as a defensive coordinator.
Damn.
But
hey, be the head guy at Notre Dame, especially with, I mean, I feel like the energy just kind of surges around him. So we'll see how it works out. But, you know, the one guy that kept popping into my mind that he might not even be close to it yet, but I respect the heck out of, people might be surprised. I respect the heck out of him as a head coach, and he's done a great job where he is. Cincinnati and Luke Fickell. Now, I didn't know if he got, coming off of last year, if he got a raise of some kind or an extension some kind or something like that. He might not have. But I feel like when he does, he's going to be paid pretty dang big.
In February, they agreed to a $5 million per year deal.
Wow.
So coming off the college football playoff appearance, $5 million a year for Coach Fickell.
Okay, well, good for him.
Which, I mean, I think kind of fights off a majority of Power 5 teams.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of sure. I wonder, $5 million is still $5 million.
And I wonder how much of that is like we're paying you $5 million until we get to the Big 12 and get our new TV deal.
Yeah,
and then we can bump you from there. Do have some more college football news to get into here. PJ's favorite quarterback ever, Michael Penix Jr. He has been named the starting quarterback at Washington. Of course, PJ's favorite quarterback ever because of the diving touchdown. When he was with Indiana.
See, that's not even his fault. The diving almost touchdown.
That was a touchdown.
No, it wasn't. We all know it wasn't.
It was a touchdown. It
was out of bounds.
But so of Indiana fame, transferred to Washington, he just won the Washington job.
Yeah.
And then I said before the break, we do have some sad high school football news to get into. A guy that I would describe as the head coach for an entire generation of football players. I think it's probably the best way to put it. Known famously for his time at Odessa Permian. Gary Gaines, the legendary Friday Night Lights football coach, has died at 73. Of course, he was known for Billy Bob Thornton's portrayal of him in the Friday Night Lights movie.
Mm-hmm.
But dude coached football in Texas for over 40 years. Led that undefeated team, I believe, in 1989, following the following year after the events of the Friday Night Lights movie.
Yeah.
But went and coached Abilene Christian and was a linebackers coach following the undefeated year at Texas Tech. And so he died of conditions related to Alzheimer at the age of 73. But I did want to mention that because if you listen to this, you know it's one of our favorite movies, one of our favorite stories, and how much we just talk about that. I think it's not outside of the scope of what I'm saying, that like he was, again, the kind of philosophical head coach for an entire generation of football players. I don't know if that movie, which I think came out like 2005, is as significant now to high school football players as it was when I was growing up.
Right.
But I mean, that was like,
it was
the Holy Grail. That was like that. Sure. You knew the speeches word for word.
Yeah.
Those guys, like, it's one of those movies where, like, at least for us, all those actors are typecast now. Right. It's like, yeah, you can go do whatever you want to, but dude, you're always going to be Mike Winchell.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think one of the cool things about just that time period, right, is it was you had two pillars of sports movies come out around that time, and they were different. They were very different, but kind of the same sport. Remember the Titans, and you have Friday Night Lights. And I feel like you go back to football players, of course, remember the Titans, kind of like there's some good lessons in there for sure, but it's like the Disney-fied part of things. Of football. It was. And then you have Friday Night Lights, which is a counterpart, but not a bad counterpart by any means. So I think I'm right there with you. And just thinking when you started explaining those time frames, my mind went there and just how strong those movies were but I mean, you're exactly right. You talking about who that movie coaching wise was inspired off of. And I think you talk about relevance. I think for at least a 10 to 12 year period, like, I don't know. We were obviously graduated and moved on, but I feel like probably 2013, 2014, you still had a lot of references of that around football communities and in, high school football communities and things like that. It might have, died out here in the past few years. Not sure.
I'll say that. I want to start a company that just goes around and makes high school players watch that movie.
Yeah, as we should. Let's do it. No, I keep it alive without a doubt. But I mean, no, you're exactly right. And thoughts and prayers, obviously, with his family and everyone surrounding him closely during this time and kind of what they're going through, but in an extension kind of way, we've all been kind of hit today too. So it's a bummer for sure. Obviously, the most important ones are the ones who spent all that time with him throughout the years of friends and family. But his impact has certainly been felt in the high school football community and just in the football community throughout America for the past 10 to 15 years. So, or 15 to 20 years now. So, incredible life well lived, I think there.
We got to take a break. We'll come back with more. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio. PJ, the Falcons are doing it to me again.
Yes.
They're sucking me back in.
Carry on, my Falcon son.
Yes. I should carry on just past this team, but dang it, they're sucking me back in. They lose last night to the Jets 24-16, but it doesn't really matter.
Oh, is that what got you? Is that what?
No, what
Jets
got
comeback?
me is Desmond Ridder
No.
and Marcus Mariota.
Okay. All right. Thank you. There
Marcus
you go.
Mariota's line on the night, 6 for 10, 132 yards, 1 touchdown, and 137.5 QBR.
How do you run?
Pretty dang good.
Did he run at all? Did he run pretty well?
No rushing stats. As for Desmond Ridder, 10 of 13, 143 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 112 passer rating. And then Mr. Pitts made an appearance.
Okay.
He said, you know what? It's the preseason, but I'll still stretch one out. 1 reception, 52 yards on 1 target.
That was a pretty ball, too.
I know.
Gorgeous
from Marcus Mariota, yeah, but what's horrifying the league and making fans freak out everywhere is Kyle Pitts was lined up at like X, like where Julio Jones would line up, and is just running past corners.
It was beautiful. I'm not trying to give credit where credit's not due. Like it was a good pass. It was a solid pass to a open receiver who just blindly just bolted past whoever was trying to cover him, and it was great.
Yeah.
Like you said, Kyle Pitts is a problem.
He might be the only problem, like for defenses against the Falcons, but he's a big one. Zacchaeus had an excellent route last night where you get to the red zone and it gets really tight. It's been a big problem for the Falcons for a long time. And he ran a sick route where Marcus Mariota was able to put it on him, and just a perfect timing route that nobody can cover. So that was kind of hopeful. He should be good. He's crazy fast as well. But Kyle Pitts being able to get up on a corner and then run past him is wild. And you could see on the play, Marcus Mariota wasn't looking at him at first, kind of like it wasn't even a pump fake. He kind of was getting ready to throw over the middle to somebody, and then it was like, oh snap, like he's one-on-one and just and hit him. I wouldn't say in stride because Pitts kind of had to wait for it a little bit.
Sure.
But still, just the fact that he was able to get 5 yards behind a corner is nuts. And it's going to change the way that defenses have to approach playing the Atlanta Falcons. And then listen, when you go back and you look at the score, 24-16 is fine, right?
Sure.
But when the starters were in, you go, I'll say halftime. You go up at halftime, 16-3.
Yeah.
Against a Zach Wilson-less New York Jets, to be fair. But still, you go into halftime, 16-3.
Yeah.
That ain't a bad defensive performance.
No, it's not a bad defensive performance. It's not a bad offensive performance for an NFL team. Starting not a lot of situations you're going to get out there and just blow out a team 40-0 in the first half, right? So I'll say, I know I have to preface this with a lot of things, like it's the Jets, it's preseason, all this other stuff, but think about the expectations, right?
Yeah.
The expectations were terrible, and you know what? You got to what looks like to be in your first couple showings a respectable team, at least to start things off with, right? Who knows how it's going to go, but I look at that and a lot of people were getting ready for Marcus Mariota or the offense going 3 and out every time. Marcus Mariota 3 of 12 with 20 yards, but hey, he went out there and tried, right? No, I think at very least, if you go out there and you're respectable and in games as the Falcons this year and maybe pull out a couple, like that's great. And I think we're seeing maybe the rumblings of that. And I'm very happy with that as well. I also I know there's the story a lot in that first preseason game with Marcus Mariota just having to run all over the place. He didn't have to. You said it yourself right there.
He didn't have rushing yards because he didn't attempt to run.
Yeah,
he was still moving around a little bit behind that offensive line.
But that's what he does.
You could have been forgiven in the third, early fourth quarter for thinking you were watching Georgia, Florida from a couple years ago as Lawrence Cager caught a touchdown pass, former Georgia hero.
Yeah.
And then LaMichael Pirine from Florida ran in a touchdown for the Jets. So you could have been forgiven. But no, not a bad performance last night for the Falcons. And again, second half of the preseason, it just doesn't matter. We got to take a break. We'll come back, get you ready for 3 and Out next right here on ESPN Radio. All right, I don't want to end the show on a negative note here, but reports are coming out, PJ, and I've never been happier to own just an old Jeep. Reports are coming out that car companies, because Tesla is now doing this, are going to start charging monthly subscriptions for owners of their vehicles to use basic features. The reports that have come out so far is BMW is considering charging owners of cars $18 a month to use their heated seats, with others following suit.
Oh my gosh.
Never been a better time to own a 30-year-old Jeep than now.
So true.
3 and Out coming up next.
I might need to invest.
Yeah, come on over. 3 and Out coming up next. Ben Troop, Kevin Thomas, and BJ Bennett talking about the Braves. Also breaking down the latest news from college football as well. If you miss any portion of our show, you can check it out on ESPNCoastal.com or wherever you get your podcast. We will catch up with everyone on Thursday.